Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon everyone and welcome to our presentation. My name is Nazrin Amar bin Nazri, matric number 1191118. First of all, I would like to introduce my group members. First, Sufyan Al-Sawri bin Muhammad Fuad. Second, Muhammad Yusri bin Zali. And third, Nur Hisham bin Zamri. We are from group 4. Next, I will start the introduction. First, this study aims to find out what role Muslim imams played in spreading the message of Islam. There are two sources of law that can be separated from human life, the Quran and the Hadith. Second, the Hadith is the second source of Islamic. After the Quran, it has a very important role in the treasure of Islamic knowledge. Function the second is to explain the laws already listed in the Quran, but its implementation has not been detailed, such as the law of prayer, zakat, haji, and others. And last, as we know, we will study more deeply about one of the hadith scholars who have been mentioned. His name is above. He is Imam Muslim. Next, I will share about Muslim scholar bio. His full name Abu Al-Husain Muslim bin Al-Hajj bin Muslim bin Wad bin Kushad Al-Kushairi and Naisabur. He was born in 206 Hijrah in Nishapur, Abbasid province of Khorasan. He belonged to a noble Arab tribe called Kushair. Next, Imam Muslim lived for 55 years and died on the evening of Sunday, 24 of Rajab, 261 Hijrah. And last, he is one of the leading scholars and memorizers of the Prophet narration and hadith. Okay, so I will go to the part his early life. Since he was a child, he was a diligent seeker of knowledge, had extraordinary intelligence, had a strong memory, high willpower, and a diligent seeker of knowledge. Second, when he was 10 years old, he had memorized the Quran and Hadith along with his chain. Third, he traveled in Khorasan and studied with Yahya bin Yahya and Ishaq bin Rahawiyah. And last, Imam Muslim often went to Baghdad to study Hadith, and his last visit was in 259 Hijrah. Okay, so next I will share about education background. First of all, he studied Arabic literature and other science throughout this time. Later on, he developed a keen interest in the study of faith. He began by learning Hadith from the great scholars, including Imam Bukhari, who were at that time in Nishapur. He went to most of the important centers of learning in Persia, Mesopotamia, Syria, and Egypt, where he attended the lectures of most of the important traditions of his time. Afterward, he undertook a long journey to collect tradition from other scholars of repute. After finishing his studies, he came back to Nishapur and devoted his life to the service of Hadith. After that, Imam Muslim strictly observed the principle of the science of Hadith. He showed great ability in arrangement of tradition. Next, Imam Muslim has added to his work an introduction to the science of tradition. His work consists of 52 books dealing with the common subject of Hadith. And lastly, the book closes with a short chapter on the tafsir of the Quran. The longest chapter is on Imam, which is the opening chapter of Sahih Muslim. Okay, so that's all for me. Next, I will pass to the next presentant, Nur Hisham bin Zamri.
Expertise of Imam Muslim. Imam Muslim began to memorize hadith as there to rebut his teachers' mistake when he was wrong in the narration of hadith, thanks to this perseverance and love of hadith. Imam Muslim is recorded as a person who is known to have narrated tens of thousands of hadith. With this reputation, Imam Muslim is mentioned by Az-Zahabi al-Muhsin bin Nasaburi, this man from Nasaburi. Maslamah bin Qasim asserted, Imam Muslim is Siqah, great is rank and is one of the leaders Imam. In line with Maslamah bin Qasim, Imam an-Nawawi also praised the scholar agree on his greatness, faith, height, dignity, intelligence, and expertise in the world of hadith. Muslim Imam will not record hadith based on personal criteria alone, and only narrate hadith that are accepted by the scholar, so that the hadith of Imam Muslim feel very popular. The view of ulama on Muslim Imam. First, Imam Muslim was praised as became a person who is respected and revered among the scholar, ulama and Muslim. Given the breadth of this knowledge in the field of hadith, his maturity is criticizing and answering all problems that arise in the science of hadith, especially authentic hadith, with and Hasan. According to Ishaq bin Mansur, as quoted by Ibn Hajar, we always get good as long as you are alive. Second, according to Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, Ibn Hajar has said, Muslim are among the scholar, ulama. He is a storehouse of knowledge and a noble person. Muslimat bin Al-Qasim think that Imam Muslim is a person who is siqah and respected by the scholar. Third, Al-Khatib has said, Muslim as follower the footsteps of Imam Al-Bukhari, obsess and study his knowledge and follow the path he took. Here, Imam Muslim is not a follower of Imam Al-Bukhari, but is described as a famous figure of hadith science after Imam Al-Bukhari. He has his own nature and characteristic in compiling both a new method that has not been introduced by others. Imam Muslim student. As for his student, they will plentiful. Among them will Ali ibn al-Hasan ibn Isa al-Hilali, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab al-Farra, Al-Husain ibn Muhammad al-Gabani, Abu Isa at-Tirmidhi, Abdullah ibn Yahya as-Saqasi al-Qadi, Ali ibn al-Husain al-Razi, Saleh ibn Muhammad Jazarah, Nasrul ibn Ahmad al-Hafiz, Ibn Khuzaimah, Abu Uwainah, Abdul Rahman ibn Abu Hatim al-Razi, and many others. Imam Muslim teacher. Imam Muslim studied under a great deal of scholar of hadith and narrated hadith from numerous people. Among the prominent scholar from which is narrated hadith were Abdullah ibn Maslamah al-Ganabi, Yahya ibn Yahya al-Nasaburi, Qutaybah ibn Sa'id, Sa'id ibn Mansur, Ahmad ibn al-Hanbal, Ishaq ibn Rahwah, Abu Khaitimah Zuhair ibn Harb, Abu Quraib Muhammad ibn al-Asa, Abu Musa Muhammad ibn al-Munhana, Muhammad ibn Yahya al-Duhaili, Abu Muhammad ibn Isma al-Bukhari, Abdullah al-Darimi, and others. Imam Muslim pursuit of knowledge. Abu al-Husain started learning hadith under the scholar in his town Nishapur. Then he began his long scientific journeys at an early age. As Suyuti said, he Muslim traveled to Basra when he was 14. Then he went to Hijaz to perform Hajj and study hadith under the Imam of Hadith in Makkah and Al-Madinah. After that, he travels to Egypt, the Levant, Iraq, and returned to Ar-Ra'i and then Khurasan. He remained about 15 years pursuing knowledge of hadith, during which he met many sheikh and collected more than 300,000 hadith. He travels to this place more than once without any tightness of a sum. In this tower, he been of knowledge seeking, practicing the narrator of hadith and gaining the fruit of knowledge.
Now we move to Imam Muslim's career in writing, where he used to have a job before he started seeking knowledge, and some even during his journey in seeking knowledge. With the money and wealth he earned through his career, it helped Imam Muslim to seek knowledge and also helped him to travel to various places. Imam Muslim lived by earning through his own hands, and he had a shop in Khan Mahmash where he sold fine linen. Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab al-Farra said he was a fabric dealer, also called as draper or mercer. Therefore, he is a business owner, and his profession was not limited to selling fine linen, but it was his properties, estates, and wealth in Ustuwa, and he used to live from them. At that time, Naisabur was a place of trade. Hence, from the sale of clothing, it brought him a great fortune. Those properties and estates helped him make good use of the huge wealth that was growing in abundance, had an important impact on his free time in seeking knowledge, and the expansion of his scholarly journey later, and continuous trip to scholars, teachers and shuyukh who were scattered in various cities and regions. Trade was not an obstacle to him from teaching people. Rather, he used to talk to people in his shop, as reported by Al-Hakim and Naisaburi. Now we move to the works of Imam Muslim that was written and compiled by Imam Muslim during his journey in seeking knowledge. Imam Muslim is one of those rich in writing and compiling hadith, narration and knowledge, or in Arabic riwayatan and dirayatan, and his various sciences of knowledge. And the most famous and prominent work is his Sahih, or also known as Al-Musnad Sahih Al-Mukhtasar. Another book that was written by Imam Muslim is At-Tamyiz. This book is about the hadith that Imam Muslim considered not authentic due to hidden detrimental flaw or illah, followed by the discerning or tamyiz of why there is a flaw, followed by the authentic narrations negating the flawed ones, all classified in a similar manner to a musannaf. Another book by Imam Muslim is Al-Kunna wal-Asma. This book is organized alphabetically, with each letter having its own chapter, very similar to Al-Bukhari's book with a similar title, but with Imam Muslim's views, which is used in biographical evaluations or ilmul rijal, in terms of who was the teacher of whom, and so on. Another book that was written by Imam Muslim is Al-Munfaridat wal-Wihdan. This book, as its title implies, a compilation of hadith that come to a single narrator, an analysis of biographical evaluations or ilmul rijal, quite similar to Al-Kunna wal-Asma. There were also other works that were written by Imam Muslim, which some are still missing and some have not yet been published due to still in incomplete pieces in the form of manuscripts, such as Tabaqat al-Tabi'in, Awlad al-Sahaba, Awham al-Muhaddithin, Mashayikh Malik, Mashayikh al-Thawri, Mashayikh Shu'bah, and others.
Achievement of Imam Muslim. Imam Muslim collected about 300,000 hadiths from hundreds of narrators. He embarked on the grueling task of perfecting the collected material. Imam Muslim is very firm in researching hadiths from all aspects. Thus, he collected about 4,000 for his books, which is divided into 43 books, containing a total of 7,119 narrations. According to Musiri, there are a total of 2,200 hadiths without repetition in Sahih Muslim. According to Muhammad Amin, there are 1,400 authentic hadiths reported in As-Sahih Al-Sittah. Imam Muslim took years to compile these books. Abu Saima, one of his friends, was so interested that he stayed with him to help organize the work for 15 years. In addition to Sahih Muslim, he wrote many other books on the science of hadith. Ibn al-Nadim mentioned 5 books of his writing. A large number of them, like the following, maintaining their superiority to this day: Al-Kitab Al-Musna Al-Kabir Al-Rijal, Al-Jami' Al-Kabir, Kitab Al-Asma' Wal-Kunna, Kitab Al-Ala, Kitab Ul-Wijdan. He taught hadith in Nisaburi, and many of his students became famous in the field of hadith, such as Imam Abu Isa Tirmizi, Abu Hasim Razi, Musa bin Harum, Ahmad bin Salama, Abu Bakr bin Khuzaimah, Abu Awanah, and Hafiz Ad-Dabi. The contribution of Imam Muslim in the field of hadith. Imam Muslim have left a great service to Muslim in general and in the development of hadith in particular. Imam Muslim is a prolific figure in the production works, especially in the field of hadith. Each of his works has its own contribution to the field of hadith. Apart from the works mentioned above, Imam Muslim still have some other writing. It is clear from the kitab displayed above that most of the books are in the field of hadith and the science of hadith. Therefore, Imam Muslim are well known as scholar in the field of hadith. Among his greatest contribution is collecting authentic hadith in one books to make it easy for scholar to take advantage of the writing through the books. He has alighted in creativity and speciality in the compilation hadith. All of his is stated in the preface of his authentic book, both explicitly and implicitly. Although the works produced by him in the field of ulum al-hadith are very many, but some have been lost. If the book still exists, then there are certainly many benefits that can be explored and studied by researching today. In conclusion, as we already know, Imam Muslim is the second Imam after Imam Bukhari in the hadith methodology. In earlier report, we have prepared show about the history of Imam journey in the study of hadith, the history of teaching and the compilation of hadith. The hadith compiled by Imam Muslim in the Sahih Muslim become the second most authentic hadith after the Sahih books of Imam Bukhari. This authentic Muslim book has been a pillar of reference for society in life since ancient time and now. In addition, at the beginning of the introduction to the biography of Imam Muslim, he used the name Muslim ibn al-Hajj, who from the beginning was a Muslim Imam who had excellent in terms of intelligence and memorization. In the history of the study of Imam Muslim, there are teachers who guide him such as Harmala ibn Yahya and many more. Next, in compiling the books of Imam Muslim, he used an excellent method. For example, the Muslim Imam of the transmitted chain relationship. Imam Muslim compiled many books such as Al-Musnad or Sahih Muslim, At-Tamyiz and others.